Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a short highlight package of races from this week's daily race beat at one of my favorite tracks in Gran Turismo, Sport Dragon Trail Seaside. So jumping straight into the first race, we can see I'm in the Sirocco and starting in third as we head down to turn 1, and the Japanese driver up ahead has a little look up the inside. And as it's our first race of the day, I'm a little unsure where the braking mark is, so we're slow through there, and now I have an Aston Martin right up my bum. Never the place you want to find a big British sports car, I can assure you of that. Nevertheless, we have managed to survive the first few corners, which is never a sure thing around here, so we can try and settle down and get into the fight with the two drivers up ahead of us. So as we come out of the S's, we're just about in the slipstream of the Japanese driver up ahead. And we're going to gain a lot of speed, and I'm actually going to misjudge my braking here, go too deep. The Aston Martin just gives us a hip and shoulder there on the way out for good measure, and WRX sneaks by as well. So already 2 places down, can't get any worse, surely, as we go through the chicane of death for the first time. And I misjudged that too, and just about have a little half death there on the exit. Not full death, but it is going to let the Corvette now go past, and we're already down into 6th place. So about as terrible a first lap as you can have, and yet there is 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th just up right ahead of us, so we haven't actually lost that much ground with all these mistakes. So we're going to be in the slipstream of the Corvette now, and we pull up alongside him, and now we're going to be going side by side into this first corner. He has the inside line though, not able to go around the outside, so we're just going to tuck back in, maybe try and get a better run on him as we head down towards turns 3 and 4, but we're going to skip ahead now to later on in the lap, and we've once again gone through the S's, and as you can see, we have the slipstream, and now we're going to approach this hairpin and hopefully not fud up the braking this time. No, we get it spot on, actually get on the apex there, and look at that, 2nd, 3rd and 4th are fighting just up ahead of us, so we are still very much in the battle for the podium at this point. So on to lap 3 now, and the WRX and Audi are having a good old spat as we approach turn 1. And I think about getting involved, give the Audi a little tap on the booty, but I have to back out of it as they continue to bounce off each other. Some Jerry Springer level stuff right here, so we're going to ride on board and watch them battle and eventually destroy each other's race. As we go around this right-hander, the Audi drifts into the WRX hits him back, and we manage to sneak through into 2nd. As meanwhile, 2nd place, we sneak through into 3rd, and meanwhile 2nd place is like later fools. So jumping ahead now to the end of the 3rd lap, and you can see we are chasing after 2nd, and 2nd is actually the Aston Martin from before, so we're going to speed up here and just watch as we try and chase him down on this final lap. So I made a lot of progress, but just fall a little bit short, it seems. And but it's encouraging signs that my race pace is a lot better than my quali pace. So we're going to move on to race 2 now. So this time I'm starting from 6th instead of being a pleb and falling back there by the end of the first lap. And we've also switched over to the Peugeot RCZ. And I only did a couple laps of practice with this car, so the race is going to be a bit of a learning experience, but we managed to get through turn 1 alright, and we're going to chase down the Japanese MKHD in his all-black matte Sirocco. So skipping ahead now as we come to the chicane of death, and you can probably already predict something's going to go wrong. So actually the Sirocco, he goes into the wall, I end up following him, and we managed to ghost through some other car who had died of death. So we are up into 5th place, a better start I guess than the last race, and we're going to have a little bit of a look up the inside here in the last turn, but not enough space to get through, but we are now going to be in his slipstream as we come down the main straight and cross over to lap 2, so we'll jump on the TV camera so you can see a little bit better here as we come down to turn 1, the chicane. He gets on the brakes a little bit later, as we said, we're only in our 4th or 5th lap in the RCZ, not really sure how far we can push the brakes right now, as we see this is an NSX or a Corvette just going a little bit off at turn 1, and the Sirocco is actually going to do the Kamui Kobayashi move and barge his way through there at the double right-hander, so it was an NSX, and we follow him through, so already up 2 positions the space of a lap and a third, and we go through the S's here, and looks like we're going to have a good slipstream as we head down towards the chicane, sorry, the hairpin, and so we come up behind him and we're just going to pop out at the last second, make the move, Daniel Ricciardo-esque, but we managed to get through cleanly, so quite a good move there. We're a little bit later on the brakes than the Sirocco can manage, and so yeah, we're now going to go through the chicane of death once more, see if we can get it right this time, and we actually see that another driver has died there, so we're already up into 2nd, and but I do have a little bit of a slow exit. I think that car put me off, and so the Sirocco here is going to now have a look at me up the inside into the last corner, but once again we're later on the brakes, so we have managed to stay ahead. So skipping forward now to the S's a little bit later on the lap, and I have a slow exit for the first one. This gives him the encouragement to go up around the outside, and it looks like Gran, Punt for Justice, has made a bit of a wide moment there, spilling gravel all over the track. And anyway, EGR 99, he's going to have the inside line for the hairpin, so I have to concede the position, but we are going to get a good run up the inside here, but no, he is going to move across rather violently and try and block me off. So I'm not sure why he was doing that. I end up backing out of the move, and we're just going to follow him and get our revenge later on in the lap. And so we go through there, and skipping ahead now as we come down towards the first turn for the last lap. You can see first place is actually not that far up ahead, and we do manage to get by before the braking zone, but the Sirocco behind us, he actually runs into the back of us and is trying to turn into us, so we lose a lot of time there. I just jump on the brakes a little bit, and I'm just saying, like, what the hell are you doing, man? And so as we come through this double right-hander, you see he's too far back to make a move, and I actually start to turn in and have to get out of it because he just goes for the massive lunge. So at this point, you know, they say revenge is a dish best served cold, and I have a modification on that and say that revenge is a dish best served at the last corner of a race. So we manage to just stay right in his slipstream as we go through the chicane of death, and we're now just going to pop out here at the last second and get onto the brakes and hit the apex perfectly. He tries to turn in on me a little bit, but he realizes it's too late, and he's actually going to get all mad about this move and flashes lights at me, and I give him a little shake just to show my appreciation for the race. So that was race 2, we managed to get 2nd, and now we head over to race 3. Once again, we're in the Sirocco, this time starting from 5th. So starting 1 place higher up, maybe we'll get 1 place higher at the finish and take the win. So straight into it, middle of the first lap, coming down into the hairpin, we make the pass on this Corvette for 4th place. So making progress already as we get underway. Just one thing I do notice about this RCZ is it really just gets on 2 wheels as you go over the curbs, and it doesn't ride the curbs well at all. I have heard that the Mazda Atenza is probably the car you want to be in for this race, or at least for time trial. Haven't given it a try yet, but maybe I'll have a go at that after I finish editing this video. So we see the 3 up ahead, they're slightly battling. Third place is going to get in the slipstream and make it, a real 3-way fight for this corner here. and I'm just falling behind, just out of touch with them at the moment, but I think I just pick up the slipstream now, probably about 7/10 away from them. So if we can keep it neat and tidy through the S's, we actually see the Ferrari there, the Italia, he goes off into the sand, so we're up into 3rd place, and we have a much better corner there, so we are now coming down to the hairpin, and they brake so much earlier. We get onto the apex, a little bit of contact there with, I think, the Jaguar behind me, but I think that it was fair. I would have made the corner if he wasn't there anyway. So we set the fastest lap, and now coming down to the first corner on the 3rd lap. So this has been a very hectic race so far. Haven't had much time to breathe, and we take the inside line and get the move done into 1st place now. So now we're going to have 2 laps where we're going to have to defend from these 2 drivers behind us. Whew, need to take a little bit of a breath after all that talking, so we'll just enjoy as we ride on board here through this right-hander. Skipping ahead now, see I set the fastest lap of the race at 44.8, and we are on the final lap, and this Japanese driver in the Genesis behind me is going to be close enough to have a move, but I just defend the inside line, take the apexes nice and slowly, as you have to do with these FF cars. You always want to make sure that if you're defending the position, that you take the mid-corner very, very slow, and just make sure you hit both apexes, otherwise the rear-wheel drive cars will just drive away from you on exit. So once again, as we come down into the hairpin, we're going to take a little bit of a defensive line. There's no room through for the Genesis, and he actually gets barged out of the way by the Jaguar behind him. So I think the Jaguar might actually get a penalty for that, surprisingly, because you'll see just up ahead, he ends up with a 0.5 second penalty, and because we are so closely bunched up, he's going to lose a lot of places at the end, and I don't think there's any other track limits where he could have got that penalty. So maybe GT Sports finally giving out a penalty for contact. So as we come through the last corner, we make our way up towards the start-finish line, and as you see, the Jaguar, he has the half-second penalty as we're crossing the line. That gets inflated up to 1 second, and he drops all the way down to 5th. So we managed to take the win in our 3rd race, and it was super entertaining. I hope you enjoyed. Hit like if you did, and make sure you subscribe so that you get all of our updates. Alright, catch you next time.